went to redesign the A series for this year, we didn't want to change much about the performance of the stick. We had a very good success. It was our first launch as True Hockey. The performance feedback was fantastic. So we really focused on the blade and, more importantly, consistency and durability of the blade. Like I said, the performance feedback was so good. The guys at Mod Squad actually gave us Stick of the Year last year,
right,
which was a great honor. As you know, your first foray into the market, you get Stick of the Year up against some of the higher end brands that are established and have been out there a long time.
Right.
So we really wanted to focus more on a new technology that we're calling BRT technology, and what that stands for is braided rib technology. To give you a little bit of a background on hockey blades and how composite hockey blades fail, typically what happens is the player will notice a loss of pop in the blade. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't feel like the day they bought it. And what's happening there is the internal core structure is breaking down. Typically you have a foam core inside the blade. There's some blades out there that don't have any foam core, but you have a core structure, and typically you have ribs joining the front and back face of the blade to manage the shear loads and try to maintain the stiffness. So I would say the vast majority of blade failures begin as a core failure.
Okay.
So we focused on trying to improve the core structure of the blade to give us better durability and a longer lasting blade. We had good success with the ActiveBond 2 technology, which was a dual rib structure. Mm-hmm. Had two carbon fiber ribs joining the front and back faces of the blade.
Right.
Now, the issue with that and with other types of constructions that are very similar is those fibers sometimes buckle in between the front and the back face when you mold the blade. The blade goes into a mold, you compress it, and those fibers buckle. The foam core also does a very good job of expanding this way to consolidate all the materials, but not this way.
Okay.
So you tend to get some wrinkling in those rib structures. So we wanted to solve that problem.
Right. And BRT, you were mentioning ActiveBond 2. BRT, I believe, is 50% stronger than...
That's correct. That's
right.
correct. And more importantly, much more consistent durability. So I brought some of the material with me. What BRT is, we call it braided rib technology. We have a braided carbon fiber tube. Mm-hmm. Inside this tube, we put a foam that expands more than the rest of the foam inside the blade. So what happens when we put this into our blade, close the mold to cure it, this braided material can expand and conform to the blade. The foam inside of it expands to push that material out, preventing any wrinkling. And what happens is you get a very consistent structure.
Wow.
With this tube. This is a seamless tube, so there's no discontinuous fiber. There's no wrinkling, so you get a very, very strong, very consistent structure.
Okay.
So with our background being in manufacturing, as I've told you before, we're the only hockey company that makes 100% of their own sticks in their own factory.
Right.
We wanted to make it not only stronger, but more consistent. So this is much easier for our operators to put into a hockey blade than the previous construction. So as a result, you not only get a 50% stronger blade, you get a much more consistent blade.
Wow.